What is up, everybody? Brett here, back today playing some more Battle Brothers. It's been a second, but I am happy to be jumping back into the world of Battle Brothers. I took a second off camera just to go ahead and check the situation out, check out our inventory, check out our armors, rearrange our front line and back line. We've got an easy fight ahead of us, so I thought, why not use this as an opportunity to get some of our bros some additional experience. I saw that we have this hyena fur mantle, which I crafted almost specifically, I think, for this veteran's fencing male, which is an insane piece of armor. Very light, very good durability. Perfect for a dagger bro who himself already has a sick dagger. Let's go ahead and give him the hyena fur mantle, which, if you're not familiar, gives 15 durability to the armor, as well as plus 15 initiative, which is a stat that goes very good very well. Gotta correct my grammar there a little bit. Nimble dodge bro, which Otmar is not yet, but will be soon. Okay. Oh, that's right. Geldrick here, we were still waiting to see what we were going to do with his last point. Someone made an impassioned case for Recover being a perk that I need to reconsider. And this is one of those perks. I've done whole builds where every brother has Recover. And what you'll find, and I'm not really ready. I haven't really got all my ducks in a row for an argument about Recover. I will say, though, that every time I've ever used it, it's very underwhelming. It's more of a niche case, just like something like Adrenaline is... Well, they're right next to each other. Adrenaline is kind of a niche case. Footwork is sort of a niche case. All of these things are good, right? The number of times that Recover is good for me has always been very low. I think the highest use you can get out of Recover is from a brother who has really high fatigue stat. So that way when you use Recover, when you get 50% of the fatigue that's been accumulated, the number will be bigger. The use of Recover will be more substantial. So you get a character like Otmar here. Him having Recover makes a lot of sense. He does a lot of attacks. He has a huge fatigue pool. And by the time he gets to the end of it, this might be taking off 50 fatigue. There you go. That's a good argument for Recover. And in longer battles, that it could mean a huge difference. Lone Wolf Bros, I would say, are also the other case where I would be, I would fight harder for Recover being a good perk for that particular bro. That being said, I'm still not quite ready, I think, to pull the trigger on this one. I'm tempted to go for Recover. I'm tempted to go for Indomitable, and I'm tempted to go for perhaps something like Footwork or Pathfinder. Here it is, Pathfinder, which reduces our action point cost to move, as well as the fatigue cost to move, and just makes it so that a Lone Wolf Bro can move around a lot more independently and can also get to the fight in better shape. It's pretty sweet. I like Pathfinder paired with Footwork, usually if I do that. But anyway, guys, we got to get to the fighting. Al-Hazred here, good base of operations for some missions if we want to get some stuff done. Let's go ahead and 2 times it here. We've got the Oath of Valor for the next 8 days, which reduces our experience by 15%, but with, Student having been taken on most of our bros, we're still net positive, I think, in experience. A Nomad Leader, awesome. I forgot to check. I wanted to see if this company or it's the other one that has the Bounty Hunter. They might both have it by now, actually, now that I say that. Which would make it more likely that champions will start showing up in our combats, which we really, really want. These guys have some dangerous weapons for just being outlaws. So I said in some of my previous videos over the last few days that I would tell you guys about my Italy trip, and this might be a decent time to talk about it. It was a really good time, y'all. My first time going overseas. I had to get a passport with my kids in order to do it. The flight was long. I mean, it was 24-hour travel days there and back, which are just, they suck, man. We flew Delta, if you're curious. If you guys travel much, you might kind of know the airlines a little. We are whiffing everything. Jesus. I was going to say, if we at least get this kill, I'll be happy, but we didn't get it. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that too. That's not bad. Delta wasn't bad. On the longer flights, you get like kind of nicer digs. It's been a while since I've flown. Used to fly all the time in the Army. And just after the Army, once I was sick, I told you guys before, I had ulcerative colitis. Well, still basically struggle with it after like 12 years. But it became so much harder to fly that I'm just like, I'm never flying again, probably. Or at least, you know, not likely. It's got to be a good reason why I would fly. But, yeah, since COVID, I think, the lavatories, the bathrooms in the planes. I know I'm supposed to talk about Italy. I'm talking about the planes and the bathrooms. But the lavatory is super clean, super convenient. When I bought tickets, I bought them to sit at the back of the plane, which is kind of the least desirable seat. It also happens to be the cheapest, if you didn't know. Or at least it seemed to be the cheapest. Let's get rid of this guy, man. Get out of here. We're trying to isolate this this leader, if we can. I'll take a 60% on their Nomad Archer. And we're going to leave Theodore in a bit of a 1v1. I didn't like that. I should have just jumped in and shot. And here, Ozpin, let's go for the better surround. But yeah, 20 hours of travel. All the longer flights had TVs. Like in the backs of the seats. Which is something that the last time I flew was very rare. And it was kind of cool to see. And I watched a ton of movies. I watched The Eternals, which was... God. That was rough. That was like a... at first I watched it and I was like, yeah, that's like a 5 out of 10. But the more I think about that movie, the more I'm like, that's like a... It's in the 4s. It is not a great movie. What else did I watch? I watched Saints of Newark, I think is what the title was. I was a big Sopranos fan a long time ago. I got the box set DVD. And I was happy to see that movie came out. I know, like, Joey Diaz, the comedian's in it. I'm a fan of his. And I thought it was great. And the guy who plays a young Tony Soprano is actually the real-life actor's son in real life. So it was pretty cool. That was a good movie. I'd rate that one pretty well. What else did I watch? I watched... Oh my God. I watched the Monster Hunters movie. That was a good kill. I'm a little concerned about Otmar here getting bopped in the head. And we're just going to chill. He might get a chance to solo some archers here. Let's come down here with Quick Draw and see if we can't put a heavy shot on Wasi the Pilgrim. Keep in mind, if our squad looks a little combat ineffective, it is. But mostly because we took out our 3 biggest hitters. What else did I watch? What else? If you guys care at all. I watched so many movies. The new Monster Hunter movie was... whatever. It's the woman who's in like every Resident Evil movie because her husband directs them. And he like casts her in all the movies. I mean, she's fine. She's a fine actress. I'm not going to talk crap on someone. I don't know anything about her personally. But the movie wasn't good. And I'm not even that big of a fan of the Monster Hunter franchise. It just always, to me, seemed like a ridiculous amount of grinding. And it's been a long time since I liked playing games that just involved grinding. Had no... I don't know. I don't want to... You know, I'm not well versed enough in the Monster Hunter world to say it has, like, no lore. But it's always felt pretty loreless to me. Just, like, empty, like, stat pumping. I don't know. Boss fights take like 20 minutes. It's probably better than I'm giving it credit for, but the movie was not good. And I love cheesy, like, monster movies. It kind of had like a Pitch Black feel to it. If you guys have ever seen that that movie with Vin Diesel. The whole Chronicles of Riddick franchise. It's pretty sweet. I don't need anything that this officer is wearing. So I'm not that concerned about trying to dagger down this dude for his gear. What else? What else did I watch? Damn, I'm forgetting something. I watched Luca, which is like a Pixar movie about a little boy who's a who's a sea serpent, And I watched it, one, because I've been wanting to see it, just because I enjoy Pixar movies. No shame in it. And two, because I actually went to Lucca. I went to Lucca in Italy. It's a beautiful city. It's like an old, gigantic wall that surrounds this very old part of the city. And then around it, it's like a nice modern city. Maybe one of my favorite places that we visited. There's a famous tower there. Don't ask me to pronounce it. It starts with a G. But it's like a giant brick tower that has trees growing on top of it. Probably not that hard to find if you're interested. Super pretty. And from the top you can see like a view of the entire city. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, watch Lucca. That was fun. Can I switch out to my dagger? Sure. Why? I don't know. I just felt like it. Jump in there. Try and bypass this dude's armor completely. But yeah, it was a little too kiddie for me as far as like Pixar movies go. Most of the time they have a lot of humor for adults. And it had a little bit. But it was just, man, it was a little too kiddie. But it was cool because it's the Pixar Italian movie, you know? Like, I'm from Louisiana, so I like Princess and the Frog. If you guys have ever seen that, it's a good movie. Would recommend. But it's like the Louisiana Disney movie. So it's kind of fun to see yourself represented in a Disney movie. And just leaving Italy and watching a movie called Lucca about a place that I had just been felt pretty like surreal. So that was fun. Hit him in the head, huh? 2 misses with a spear is kind of ridiculous. There we go. Let me get the route. Finish him. Didn't get it. If this guy ran away, I would be unbelievably shocked. But we had the bleed. We had cut arteries, I think, on him. So there was never a chance. But yeah, this ended up being a little bit of a scrap. But in order to fulfill... We're running down. In order to fulfill our oath to its maximum potential, we need to fight fights that have more enemies than us, and then we'll get the bonus renown for that. So for this, we got gold, stack of tools almost. We got a shamshir. That's the big payday, I think. Signet ring. Lots of stuff to sell. I don't think I even need... I already have a shamshir in my inventory. But good fight. Let's just make sure we're repairing stuff. A lot of this is valuable. And we did pick up a level on Anthony. Nice. He's level 10. He's our crossbow bro. He's going to end up being a little bit more heavily armored. We did take Battleforged on him. He's got crippling strikes, but what he doesn't have is fast adaptation, which I'm tempted to grab on him right now. I need my backliners to hit. He's not going to be that bad of a crossbowman by the time we're done here. But for the moment, he's not the best. I'm also going to take this 4 and resolve. Just get him over that 50 hump. I think that's going to be good for him. And then, honestly, you just take a 2 in fatigue, I think, here. And call that good. And then we're going to take out Otmar. Give him a chance to heal up. And we will close ranks, I think. And throw in Liebwin. Go real heavy on the ranged. Our guys kind of all double, especially our crossbow bros, all double as billmen. So having some on the flanks isn't terrible, as long as they have decent armor. Like, Anthony's a good option with Battleforged. Liebwin, not yet. He doesn't have the defensive stuff he needs in order to be good at that. But Quick Draw does. That's a small change, but it's honestly a substantial one. What else did I watch? I started to watch Dr. Javaco, but they're horrible British accents. I speak pretty decent Russian, and their horrible accents in British were so, like, I couldn't put on subtitles, and I also couldn't hear over like the plane being really loud. Everyone was like whispering in the movie. I was like, okay, I can't watch this. It was driving me a little bit nuts. So let's sell stuff here. It's a good place to sell. Don't need this, don't need that. Sell, sell, sell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Singing ring, we can get rid of one of those. Silks, obviously not a good place to sell those. We keep our backups as needed. And yeah, I think we're good to go. Look how much cash we're sitting on. Unbelievable. And I'm just going to take some more ammunition. We kind of need it. How are we on food? 7 days? That's not bad. I probably don't need to buy any more. But yeah, let's get up to 8. Why not? It's not going to waste. So that's really the only thing you have to worry about with buying food, is whether or not you're wasting it. And I'm going to buy all of those fire pots. That's a good move. That's an investment in our future in a difficult fight, us having the tools we need to get through it. Second wind potion could be good as well. Cat potion probably has synergies I'm not even aware of, I'm willing to admit. Smoke pot is tempting to make, though probably better just to sell the ingredients, sadly. Nothing for us to buy here. Do we have any missions? We don't. So we're going to need to leave this place and go try to find something else to do, man. No arena, no missions. Let's go to Al-Hazif. They have an armor and a weaponsmith, which might give us an opportunity to spend some of this fat cash we have. I'm also tempted to come down here and just skirt the bounds of our domain. See what we can see. Let's pop up on here as well. The game sometimes likes to hide stuff here. And what do we have? Urhamian the Survivor burst into the tent with trembling hands holding young Anselm's skull. It's broken. What the hell? You jump out of your seat and take a look at young Anselm's holy remains. There's a sliver of a crack going down the back of the skull. At first it doesn't look too bad, but when you stick a pinky finger in it and lift, the bone splits apart. You both gasp and set the skull on the table. There's no doubt the skull could be broken apart with only a little bit more effort. What should we do? How do we fix it? You ponder the question very carefully. The last time this happened, young Anselm's jawbone broke off, and so too did break the Oath-Takers. With one group remaining as the Oath-Takers, and the other forming the savage blasphemers, the Oathbringers, you're not going to let that happen again. Fix it. You take out a piece of string and coat it in ivy and sap. Then you gently lift Anselm's crack and run your finger down it with more sap. What a sentence that was. Urhamian the Survivor stares nervously. Satisfied, you then insert the string along the crack and set the skull's parts back down, chomping down on the string and the sticky ivy with it. You stand back, looking at your work. Urhamian swallows. I don't think anyone will notice. You actually worry that it may be preferable that they find the crack in the skull absent of one's attempt to fix it, than to see the handiwork of some skulking skull restorer who tried to sneak one by. Yeah, I feel that. Either way, it's done, and young Anselm's honor has been restored. Urhamian wipes the sweat from his brow. This reminds me, what do they call that Japanese art, where something is broken, and then they fill it with, like, gold or silver to make it more beautiful? You can definitely look that up. It has a name, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I believe this to have been a test, Captain, and that young Anselm has seen us through. His strength flows through me, and no words are capable of describing the honor I feel right now. He says, what? Young Anselm probably had no idea about sticky saps and ivies, and he presumably knew even less now that he's an unspeaking skull. But you leave Urhamian to his interpretations, as shortcoming as they are to yourself. Okay. He gained +4 resolve, which is sick. He's now determined, and he's eager. I should have been an Undertaker. So let's go to Urhamian real quick. And yeah, determined. Don't worry, I got this. This character shows a formidable amount of self-confidence. That's so good for him. And his resolve was already jacked. He's an excellent resolve, bro. / sergeant character. Alright, let's keep it rolling. What was I talking? Oh yeah, I was talking about Dr. Zhivago. I wanted to watch it because at some point I had like a 3.5 hour flight. And Dr. Zhivago is like 3.5 hours long. And check it out, look what we found, finally! The Curious Shipwreck. What a great find. Atop some trees sits a large wooden structure. As strange as it seems, it looks a lot like a ship. I don't know if I've ever found this one on the edge. I always end up finding it like dead center in the map. Very, like, honestly, not that far from civilization. I guess this technically isn't that far. But what a weird location for this, it seems. And for those of you who don't know what this is, you'll find out. Pretty cool little event here ahead of us. The ship is wrecked amongst the trees, some of which have long since started to grow through it. As far as you're aware, there is neither sea nor river for miles. Quickdraw walks up and halts at the very sight. By the old gods, is that a ship? You sigh and tell the company to stay here while you and the very observant sellsword go to take a look. I love the art. Let's see what secrets are inside. You step into the bowels of the ship. It's completely vacant, save for a stump with an axe head chopped into it. Quickdraw looks at it. There's an axe head. Nodding, you say there is indeed, but the metal of it carries veins of a sort of golden hue, just what we were just talking about. Getting closer to the stump, you can see embers flittering upward out of the wedge. Quickdraw taps your shoulder and you find him pointing into the dark of the ship. Skeleton. Dead one. Good. I hate the living ones. Just faintly can you see the pale bones. As you draw near, the clothing becomes apparent and readily obvious as royal attire. There is a cracked ale horn in one hand and a molded loaf of bread in the other. His jacket is blown open and shredded by splinters. Upon closer inspection, some of the wood is embedded in the brain pan. Inspect the stump. Always inspect the stump. Speaking of that, I was just pulling up like my phone just now to try to like slyly Google what that Japanese art is called, and the page that I had open was to buy. It was literally to like, not quite a stump, but I'm looking for new oak trees to replace one that I had to cut down in my front yard, an old like ash tree that was like dead. And trees, like I'm about to spend $1,000 on a 100-gallon sized tree. Unbelievable. But my front yard is dying in 100-something degree heat every day in Texas, and we're not allowed to water our grass. Probably correctly so. So anyway, that's what it made me think of. And luckily my girlfriend, she works for a big, but she works for a landscape company, and she can get trees on the cheap. So she's a designer / architect. Very proud of her. But yeah, getting a sweet cheap tree would be nice. Okay, Japanese art where metal. Let me see. Precious metals. I'm not the world's best Googler. This should come up like instantly. What is this called? Kintsugi? Or also known as, well, in American vernacular, you would call it golden repair. I don't like that. I think this English translation here, golden joinery, sounds a little cooler. Yeah, Kintsugi. Nice. You guys got it. Alright. Seeing as how the skeleton and his beer and bread ain't going anywhere, you leave it be. The axe head, however, draws your eye again. Quickdraw walks over to the stump and the glowing wedge. He tries to take it out. Finding no luck there, he steps back and kicks it further in. The stump cracks in twain and the sellsword suddenly flies upside down. The axe head shoots through the roof of the boat, and you can hear it clunk and clatter down its sides outside. Debris and smoke drift lazily about. The sellsword gets up and pats himself off. What in all the hells was that? You shush him and point. A little golden goose squats where the stump's base used to be. The sheen on its metal glows and swirls. You've heard stories of a golden goose, but never thought they were anything beyond that. This is honestly the type of thing I wish they added way more of in Battle Brothers. This location, this type of event, the kind of whimsical nature of this, the golden goose, I love it. I wish there was more of this. Like, kind of non-combat related benefits. And kind of even more reason to explore the wilderness. Quickdraw stumbles forward. Sir, what are you doing? You wave him off and pick the golden goose up. Holding it in both hands, it feels oddly warm. And it isn't exploding or melting your face. Nice little, almost said Tomb Raiders. Nice little, oh my god, Indiana Jones reference. Check. You can feel its metal rippling ever so slightly against your fingers. It might even be growing. With the treasure safely huddled beneath your elbow, you wonder why the skeleton didn't fare better. Quickdraw walks up and touches the golden goose on the head, but quickly recoils. You ask if it burned him. The sellsword purses his lips. Really, sir? Was it not obvious? He sticks his finger in his mouth. You tell him not to be so snappy with his commander, or you'll throw the goose at him and see if it makes short work of him as it did the skeleton. The man shrugs. Oh, look at the man, chosen by a shiny bauble. Put a blade beneath a wing so it can knight ye. Or hells, why not put it on your head and call yourself king already? Love it. I feel like that's definitely a Monty Python Holy Grail type reference. You look down at the goose, a drop of red blood runs down its length, turns gold, and drops to the ground with a tiny plink. You pick it up and bite it. The gold smushes satisfyingly in your teeth, and you then throw it to Quick Draw. It does not burn him this time, and you realize you may have found the genuine golden goose from the tales. The tales are true. So, let's check it out real quick, because it's such a cool thing. It generates 15 crowns a day, which is, you know, not a lot. You hold on to this for hundreds of days, you're going to get some value out of it, and then you eventually sell it. You know, you find a place where the prices are like, the shield's like, man, it's 23, 24 crowns worth, you know, whatever that means to you. Like I said, I use the shield or the bear hat to dictate what the prices are like. If the prices are really like amazing, I'll often just sell this for like $5 grand, 5,500 or whatever it ends up being, and just call it a day. It's a cool event. It got me $5 grand. That $5 grand probably purchased me, like, you know, a really nice weapon, a great sword, or, you know, a suit of armor. Or in the early game, you find these, and I have found them before in the early game, and they've like saved my campaign. Where I was like about to go broke, I found the golden goose, sold it for a fortune, and ended up being quite happy. And a nomad retreat here probably would have given me a contract to destroy this place, but we're going to do it on the cheap. And once again, we're going to take in a bit of a B squad here. Not mad at it. I think they'll do fine. And I'm pretty sure we're healed up now. We just could really use some well-landed shots in the early portions of this fight. They've got some two-handers here, which I'm going to prioritize. Let's go for an aim shot. Yeah, it sucks. Getting rid of these two guys before they get shielded would be nice. Not missing all of our shots would be nice. Outlaws do have a bit of high natural range defense, which the game kind of doesn't tell you about. This guy's got a nice set of armor. We'd like to get that. But even the guys without shields are kind of hard to hit. I remember looking up their stats one time and being like, are you serious? They have that kind of range resistance? Yeah, we're missing like a lot of 40s and 30-somethings. It's kind of getting a little unreasonable. Okay, one dead. Strike a little bit of fear. See how they play this. I'll take the 22%. Wouldn't be surprised to see them jump into here, but that's also not bad for me. Could use a dog to keep them from flanking me and getting onto Anthony, but I honestly don't care. We'll just pull out bill hooks. Sipper shields doing their work, and he steps in the center without the ability to counterattack or to preemptively attack. I think we'll be able to do good work, probably take him down. We have such a massive surround on him. That sucks, but our bros have quick hands, so the whip ultimately is not useless against us, but definitely not at its most effective. It's like, oh no, you took away my hunting bow. Check out this long axe. Didn't land the shot, would have been way cooler if I landed the shot. Would be way cooler if I wasn't missing all these shots, but what can you do? Nothing really good here. I'm going to put a big hit on that guy, and then we're going to switch out to the billhook and see if we can't do that again. Would have been nice. Perfect. Step in here. Next up is definitely this dude. Get him out of here. Tempted to knock this guy back. Let's go for, man, a 12%, huh? We don't have good chances to do anything. I don't like this. This is not great for us. Start moving down. Start stepping a little bit that away. I'm gonna say, I'd be a little shocked if they don't take these shots at quick draw. Yeah, I mean, it's annoying. That sucks. It's annoying that they're shield walling, but it's less DPS in our face. But we've got to isolate this guy. What's his name? Sawar, the Prince of the Sands. We got to isolate him, and then I'd love to dagger him down for his armor. That armor is worth us doing that for. It's like, it's a decent payday. Whew, okay. Okay, that made it up to me a bit. Still don't have any great shots. Killing that guy would have been huge. Liebwin, let's go ahead and pull out the bill hook. Oh, you don't have the action points there. Nice, and we pierced his lung. Excellent. And we even struck a little fear into them. Getting him out of our back lines is a pretty big priority. Oh, I'm going to go for the stun. Now we're just going to shield wall. Just give him someone to hit that's not going to be that easy to hit. Just realized I got very sidetracked talking about movies and not following up about Italy. But anyway, guys, we stayed in a villa. Pretty fancy schmancy villa. That a lot of us chipped in a lot of money to afford. But like a 20-bedroom, 20-bathroom villa. It was insane. It was a 15th century hunting cabin of the Medici family. And by hunting cabin, I mean like extravagant mansion. For the times, it would have been insane. And it was absolutely beautiful. If you want to look it up, I don't think this is like... It's kind of weird to kind of share certain things with you guys just because we obviously don't know each other. But if you want to look it up, feel free. It's called Villa Lungomonte. Like Lung Monte. That should get you pretty close. And it's on Airbnb. Check it out. It's a big yellow, like 4-story, if you include the basement. It's like 20-foot ceiling, chandeliers, like old artwork everywhere. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Beautiful swimming pool. The kids loved it. And it's so close to Pisa. You guys might know the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's so close to it that you can see the Leaning Tower from like the yard. It's unbelievable. And there was a day where they were doing... we're going to try to break this dude's shield. And we got him on the first shot. That was a good use of Heracles' weapon to get rid of his shield. But there was a night where they had like a special feast day for a saint. And they did fireworks and they lit up the Leaning Tower. It was so sick. As a tourist, it was pretty sick. Get the bill hook out. Like I said, I don't want to mess up this guy's armor, so I'm not in love with my movement here. We're getting sort of stuck on these dudes. Let's say, quick draw. Please kill him. Jump in here, isolate, kill this guy. Gonna get my dagger out here. I'm not gonna land anything on this dude. So we're just gonna chill. First time hitting him, that's great. But went to see the Leaning Tower the first day. We landed and they told me that our like accommodations weren't ready. They had to like keep cleaning. And I had like 4 hours or 5 hours and they wouldn't let us like onto the grounds. And it was 100 degrees. It was 100 degrees pretty much every day we were there. It was kind of miserable. So we went to Pisa, and Pisa's a super old city. And there's not a lot of shade. My kids were already sunburnt from a beach trip that their mom took them to. Like a week before or something. And it was 100 degrees, man. There's no shade anywhere. Not even the Leaning Tower, because it's freaking leaning in the wrong direction. So we get over there. It's beautiful. It's awesome. We've got our luggage still. We're hauling it around. It sucks. And we see the tower. Everything's everything's, you know, at this point feeling pretty groovy. It's just, we were there for so long. We couldn't get a cab. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. Until finally it just started to suck. But by the time we got to the villa and kind of met up with all of my family, my mom, my aunts and uncles, it ended up being like a pleasant day. We had like a good meal. But it was a lot, man. It was just so much to get, to travel all day. I hadn't slept in like... I ended up not having slept for... I don't want to exaggerate, but it was a lot. It was like 30-something hours. By the time I went to bed, I hadn't slept for like 30-something hours. Which is insane. That's too long to go without sleeping. And I was hauling my kids around in the heat, in a strange city, just trying to figure everything out. But I enjoyed Pisa overall. I got some good pictures. And then the next day we went to Florence, which was beautiful. Went to see the Uffizi, which is a famous Medici family palace. I think that's been converted into a museum. Right outside of it is where the David is. Inside of it was a lot of art that I recognized. And I'm not an art aficionado. If I recognize a piece of art, it's a pretty freaking famous piece of art. Nice. Good kill. Was hoping to get that one. Was hoping to get that one too. Good shots. Let's go ahead and reload this. 30, 22. Let's take the 30. This fight has been kind of frustrating. We're just not getting past these little nerds everywhere. Without our two-handers, this fight is rough, man. And we're missing so many attacks we shouldn't really be missing. Okay, Whipman came back. But yeah, Florence. Saw the Duomo. Super huge domed church. I think that's what Duomo means. Was amazing. The architecture and all that. Pretty much the main reason you go to Italy, I think. The architecture and the food. And if you're a single guy, you might go for the ladies. Wouldn't blame you for that. Had some beautiful ladies walking around. I feel just old, though, now. I'm in, like, my early 30s, and I already feel old. But yeah, that was nice. Got a lot of good pictures of that. What else? What else, man? Finally, we get that kill. Jesus. What else? The next day, we went to another pretty cool location. We went to Santa Stefano, which is a spot way up in the mountains. And we had to drive, like, forever to get there. Hours and hours up the northern coast. That hurt. That hurt a lot. I'm just going to lock this dude down. We'd like to not get hit again like that. Step in, switch to the dagger. Step there. Oh, do we not have quick hands yet? Oh no, knocked is level 2. This is going to start going better once we land a couple shots. Yeah, we start breaking him. Pierced his leg muscles. He's exhausted. He's not going to be able to swing twice. That's all good stuff. Yeah, Santa Stefano, beautiful. Found like a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that ended up being one of the most beautiful restaurants I've ever eaten in. Not to mention the food was incredible, just course after course. I'm not even a drinker. They brought all the wine because our host was like a dude who looked like Tolkien. Just had a little pipe. He was smoking on the whole time. He like refused to drink water. He said wine was water. It's kind of hilarious. And he gave us kind of like the tour of the town. Ended up being a great time. But yeah, just lucked out. Just so much luck along the way in our trip. That ended up being wonderful. Just stumbling across beautiful spots. We ended up having dinner in this amazing restaurant on the side of a mountain, overlooking like fields and just this huge valley. It was incredible. And of course, like I said, the food was amazing. Just taking so many memories, man. And my kids were having fun. We had some young family members were with us, and a lot of like extended family from Germany. People I had never met before. Young, like for me, they'd be second cousins. Whatever cousins of your cousins is, we're gonna run them down. Like your cousin's cousin that share no blood with you at all. But it was nice because my kids had kids to play with, which is a big deal. Because I could definitely see how Italy would get very boring very fast for a kid. As beautiful as it is, it's hard to appreciate it when it's 100 degrees and you kind of just want to go home. But my kids are troopers, man. They didn't complain. I'm happy we're hitting him in the head here. We really need to bring someone else here, that way he can't run. It's a bit of a mistake not to do that. But we've hit him in the head, so we haven't really damaged our chances of getting this armor. Step in there. And now we just take our time. Got to get past his cheeky 9 lives. And thankfully he can't go anywhere. So, super high probability of us getting this armor. I think it's probably like 100%. Pass, pass, pass. If you can't puncture, we don't want it. There we go, 9 lives. And let's take it home. There we go. Awesome. And we did. We got the armor. There's a lot of work to get a Southern long mail shirt with padding, but it's worth it. It would cost us a lot. And we got some spices, some crowns, a stack of tools, more than a stack and a half, and some ammo, another shamshear. Very, very much worth it for us. Plus, I think we leveled, did we not? Yeah, we got several levels. Wow. Okay, cool. This armor needs to probably go on a frontliner, especially one in the meantime who's rocking low armor. Like we've got Noct here, we've got Columbo. Probably gonna give it to Columbo, being as he's level 6, right? As far as weapons go, I think he's our dedicated axe user. So let's just give him axe mastery. Quick hands would have also been acceptable there. Going to take the 3 in melee skill, happy to see it. Going to take the 4 in max fatigue, happy to see it. And I'm going to take the 3 in melee defense. I saw a decent ranged buff. You know, he doesn't need to have... Range skill is something we're going to take on our frontline characters when there's no other good options. Yeah, this weakened heart crushing his hit points is pretty lame. Going to have to fix that as well at some point. But, hey man, that's just Columbo. We don't get rid of bros around here. We try to make them work. Quick Draw got his level 11. That's massive. And just give me a sec to check him out. We also built him as Battle Forged. Okay, cool. So I don't need to pump initiative necessarily. His resolve is kind of low. This could be a good opportunity to pump that. Happy to see a 4 in range skill. For him having 2 stars in range skill, he must have started in such a low place in order for him to be at this level and still only have 70. I think we take the 3 in maximum fatigue, and then probably just take the 4 in resolve. And after this, we will pump summon melee skill. I mean, he's got a bill hook. We want him to be proficient with it. We also definitely want to take fast adaptation. That's a no-brainer for me. And then probably killing frenzy as well. Could go rotation. I'm going to go rotation. And we'll be happy we did at some point. We'll be happy we did. Sometimes you got to go for the utility first. Let's grab Colossus here on Noct. That'll help him survive. into the later game for us. Let's take a 3 in melee defense. Let's take this 4 in fatigue. And then I hate to see this low roll in melee skill. So this might just be a good time to pump his melee defense. Get it just a little bit higher. His fatigue is crushed, but that's only because he's level 3. He doesn't have brawny yet. He'll get that next. And he's also fat. So that'll wreck you too. And then here, Ospin's level 10. Ospin, I think, was supposed to be a spear master. I know of no reason. No, actually, he needs to be a throwing master. That's what it was. He's got a higher range skill than some of our other bros. So we'll go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Nope. Let's take another 4 here in range skill. Nah, hold on. Let me evaluate first before I start going head first into that. I like the 3 in fatigue. We'll take that. And then maybe we just go 3-4 here. I do want to get him to a decent melee skill in the 60s maybe. He's got fast adaptation. That'll help. Okay. Let's keep on chugging. Where was I? We went to Florence. Oh, Lucca was like what we did the last day. Everyone started to get sick at a certain point. All my aunts and uncles ended up basically with COVID. Not basically with COVID. They ended up with COVID. After they got tested, they found out. But they were sick for a while. They lost my mom's luggage. They lost my aunt's luggage in Rome for days. Didn't really apologize. And then kept telling them that they were going to show up any day now to bring it. And that if they missed the delivery, that they wouldn't get their luggage back. For like who knows how long. So they ended up like waiting. My aunt at least waited days. We'll go kill these dudes. There's probably a mission here to kill them. Whatever. I'm not going back empty-handed. They ended up waiting days, she did, at the villa just chilling, waiting for her luggage, and then missed out on a lot of the trip, which sucks. But yeah, between sickness, luggage loss, that's one of the reasons me and my kids, I was big on us not checking a bag. We just had, my kids had 2 big backpacks, and I had, you know, like the biggest size carry-on that you can get. And still be considered carry-on. Because there's no way I was risking losing my bag. Like what happened to everyone else. Good throws. Yeah, so we ended up losing a day to that. But it wasn't really a lost day because I ended up kind of walking around the town that the villa was in and exploring a little bit, which was fun. I hadn't had a chance to do that yet, and I also spent some more time with the kids, like one-on-one instead of in a big group with the rest of the family. And that was nice. The town was cool. I had, really the whole time I was there, I only had one truly, like, rude interaction. And it was with some kind of sketchy looking dude in a pharmacy. My little cousin was getting bit up by mosquitoes. Apparently there's a ton of mosquitoes in Italy. I had no idea. I mentioned already I'm from Louisiana. I live in Texas. And mosquitoes are a problem. But I didn't realize how bad they were in Italy. So she's like, and she's super like fair skin, sensitive to everything type of girl. So I went and tried to get her some bug spray at the local pharmacy. And there must have been something I missed about, like, how to, like, the correct way to wait in line or something. Because I waited, like, 20 minutes for my turn in line. And then as I get to the front of the line, this sketchy dude starts, like, yelling at me in Italian. Like, really aggressively. Like, in my face. Like, if I was in America and someone did that to me, it probably wouldn't end well for them. Especially not with my kids there. But instead, I just was like, okay. And I just got my kids and I left. Because apparently, you know, there's something going on there I just didn't understand. And I wasn't willing to, like, yell or fight about it in a random pharmacy over bug spray. You know, which they had behind the counter for some reason. So I couldn't even, like, check out without... I was just really just trying to get the bug spray and check out and leave. Anyway, it was quite annoying. It really, for most people, it only takes one bad experience like that to kind of ruin you on an entire place. Like, you never know how you can affect someone else's perception of, like, your entire community, your entire country, even, by being a rude jerk. Because I'm not the type of person to obsess over that. I look at that guy and I'm like, oh, this dude, he had like a weird backpack on that was all like crappy. He was dressed kind of messed up. I don't know if he was something of like a street person, maybe. It's hard to tell. But to me, he just looked like a guy who didn't have a lot of good things going on in his life. So I wasn't willing to like get bent out of shape about it. You know what I mean? So I didn't let his poor interaction with me affect the rest of my trip. But it could have. And there are people who really take stuff like that personal, man. Or that's all they remember. They're like, yeah, I went to Italy and this guy like accosted me. And then they go home and they tell everybody that, and then no one wants to go to your freaking country anymore, man. Like, I wasn't dying to go to Italy. If I go over there and I get like yelled at, I'm like, I'm not going back over there. That place sucks. Could be a way that I react, you know? So ambush trade routes here should mean amazing sell prices. And they are. They're great. So we will sell. We will sell indeed. And I'm going to fix up the other Shamshir before I sell it. So I'm going to sell the one that's already fixed. And we are just stacking cash. Even with the rate we're spending it, we're still stacking it. Yeah, still not a good place to sell stuff. And yeah, we spent a lot of money on fire pots. I was like, how did we dip close to 30? It's because we bought a bunch of fire pots. I'm also going to want to buy at least one stack of tools. Probably should just buy 2. Just pull the trigger, buy 2. The only way I'm going to kick myself is if I check in the armory and weaponsmith and see that there's something amazing in here that I have to have. They do have a 2-handed scimitar. Way more highly priced than we would normally see it. We'll check the Alchemist. Who knows? They might have a rare handgun. They do not. And then we'll check the armor. And they have a padded mail and Lemular hauberk, which we have purchased one of in the past for Galdrick. I'm not against buying another one. It's just the prices on it. It's a little overcosted right now because of the ambush trade routes. We might be able to help that out with one of these. Let's see what you need. Okay. Well, this could be good. To get us out of here. Okay, finally the little crownling is here, ready to do big things for us all. Come look at this map. Do you see where my men are? So, I want to ask you guys a question that has to do with our ability to re-roll in negotiations. This is very expensive. Let's say we need to be paid more for this. I think you guys have told me that I can renegotiate as far as 3 times. Without affecting relations. I know that I can continuously negotiate, but every time you do, past a certain point, you mess up relations, and I'd rather have the relations because the relations mean better trade values, which ultimately is more money. So that if you're wondering why I don't constantly spam it, it's because I'm not really aware of how many times I can get away with it because I have the negotiator. It's something that I need to look up. But we did just negotiate ourselves into a 5,000 crown contract. And it's for us to defend the ancient city, which we've done before and was pretty fun. And it's a fight that I think we can take and should take. I did buy, yeah, I'm up to the maximum amount of tools. That's good. Food-wise, I could probably stand to buy a little more food. 7 days. See if we can get to 8. Maybe bought the wrong thing. That'll get me to 8 for sure. Okay. And this is not a bad time to sell the Golden Goose. I'm just saying if I wanted to sell it, it's at a premium right now, but we will see better prices. If I see like a 23 on this, I'm going to sell it. It's kind of just a given. And we're nearing the end of today's episode. I don't want to quite end it yet, but I do want to take Knocked Out. He's not going to be in the big battle to come. Neither is Columbo, I think. And we've got some backliners here. Liebwin. Perhaps Thorben as well is going to come out. We're going to need the heavy hitters. We're going to need all the heavy hitters. in this upcoming brawl. There we go. Let's make sure we go ahead and switch that back out. And here we go. Miguel, we need to have Miguel in as well. It could be worth it taking Otmar out. If we want to be as strong as possible, I think we do take him out. Interesting build we've got going on here. Interesting indeed. Don't need anything from the temple. Are we good here? I think we are. Unless I wanted to buy that big piece of armor for 10 grand. I kind of don't. A man approaches you at the gates of Al-Hazif. Judging by the madly colored bandoliers and phylacteries about his chest, he is an alchemist. He announces that he was sent by the vizier. I'm a bit short on material, but I've enough to produce content on a very specific manner. Of your call, of course. I read that poorly. He describes his solutions as thus: fire pots, flash pots, or smoke pots. Honestly, guys, I have used smoke and flash pots as for their intended purposes before, and you feel super cool in this game when you use them correctly. But for general purposes, I will say the fire pot just can't be beat. It does initial damage, it does burn damage, and even almost more importantly, it makes the AI move in like such a weird way that it screws them up, and that gives you a lot of other kind of down the line advantages that are a little bit harder to see. But getting 2 free fire pots here is huge. That's like 1,500 gold straight off the bat, on top of what we're already getting paid for this. So the Alchemist works quickly, pouring an entire pile of powdered contents into a bowl and then mashing in a smattering of materials you can't even recognize. It takes a surprisingly short period of time, and you're not sure if that's because he's so talented or this whole thing is a farce. Either way, he hands you the pots as promised. May the Gilders shine light upon your path, and may your swords bring peace back to the ancient city. These should come in handy, and they certainly will. So where are we going? We're going all the way back out here. Let's stop at Al-Hazred. Just cause. Every time I see fire pots, all I can think of is the magician-looking dudes from 300 who were throwing hand grenades at the Spartans, and then they managed to like wreck those dudes by lighting their entire stash on fire and blowing the side of the cliff off. It's a pretty sweet scene. Let's see if maybe they got a new resupply on armor. 12 hyenas. We got to get in on that. We might be able to squeeze that in before we jump out at the end of the day. And check it out. As mentioned, we would have paid a pretty crappy premium, like an additional 2 grand for this. I'm probably going to buy this right now, and I may even buy the turban helmet as well. That's a huge pickup. There's also a scale armor here, which is about as heavy as I like to go on crossbow bros. You know, and then the super late game, you replace them with unique sets of armor, but this is, I think, about as heavy as you can go on a battle-forged crossbow bro without totally wrecking his fatigue stat. And then even this, like a southern longmail shirt with padding, is also a pretty good stopgap, and a heraldic shoulder plates that we can stick on something. I'm almost certainly going to buy that. Let me just kind of scope out for a second who I'm going to buy that on and see before I spend money. Let's check everything out. We want to check out the Alchemist. Once again, there are unique guns in this game, and you don't want to miss being able to get them. And there's also amazing hires. Like the Cell Sword could be a decent hire, but we only get 1 more guy on our squad, which is something I wish they would change. I wish we could get 20. I like just having more dudes. More dudes just equals more fun. Did I check? I was just checking to see if they had anything on sale. They do not. We're going to pull the trigger on the padded mail. If I look at my bros here, my biggest bros have good helmets and good armor. Someone like Miguel, what's his fatigue like? His fatigue's pretty good. Arhamian's is kind of wrecked. Galdrick is honestly just waiting for the Irajok set. But Miguel here, grab the turban helmet. Let's compare real quick, just so you guys can see. This is the best helmet you can buy from a basic standpoint in the north, and this is the best helmet you can buy from a basic standpoint in the south. So 290 versus 300, max and fatigue 20, 20, vision 3, vision 3. So full helm is better. It's just the turban helmet is a little bit cheaper. That's what you're getting there. So let's go ahead and hook up Miguel. Miguel is now, I mean, check that dude out. You don't want to face him in a dark alley, that's for sure. This helmet is a good helmet. We can pass that on to someone else. These helmets are -2 vision as well, so it's not a terrible trade-off there. Theodore, Ozpin. Just checking out defensive stats real quick. Might give this to Aaron tier. That's already a 230 though. These guys are rocking 215s. Let's go ahead and pass this on to Theodore here. This helmet is a 215. We could pass that on to really no one. I think we've just kind of grown out of it. But we can also now pass on this reinforced mail hauberk. That's one of the benefits of switching up the armor. This is a 210. Let's get you into 220, Osmond. This is a 190. Let's upgrade you, Theodore. I love this armor. It's just a little too heavy for some of our bros. We'll give this over here to Noct. Frees up a mail hauberk we don't really need. Okay. Sell that one. And the scale armor is very tempting. As a 240, it would definitely go on someone in the front. Probably someone like Theodore. The money's here to spend it, guys. Is what you're supposed to do. I'm going to buy both of those. I didn't necessarily need that, but sticking heraldic shoulder plates on some of our heaviest armor, it would look pretty ugly if I stick it on here. So I'm going to do something that I don't recommend. I'm going to go for aesthetics. I don't like that it covers up the medallion, but I think it looks a little bit better with the helmet. More chainmail. And then I'm going to stick this one on here. No, I can't do it in there. Duh. But I'm going to stick that one in there. This one is a 240. Let's give this to Urhamian. Give him the heraldic shoulder plates. Let's pass this on perhaps here. That's a 210. These are 250s. Yeah, that has shoulder pads on it. It's just hard to tell. And then we could pass this on. This is a 190, right? So we'll pass that on there. Playing musical armors. So 190. Would probably give it to a crossbowman who's got good fatigue. So quick draws, perhaps top of the list at the moment. Boom. I like it. Looks good. And then before we go, guys, we're going to go ahead and take down some hyenas. I'm going to buy that as well. Might need to double switch them up. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to get too picky here. But here we go. Looks good to me. Fine. Let's go kill some hyenas. We want the experience and we want the pelts. If I could put hyena pelts on everyone, I would do it. We don't have all the other good crafting ingredients quite yet. The snake skins and the unhold bones and all that stuff. So the AI has chosen... I knew he was there, but I have to shoot this guy to reveal him. The AI has chosen to try to flank us. That's a lot of good hits, man. Spread a little bit of damage around. Hopefully we can get a kill. We'll wait. And just starts kind of slowly rotating down. God, there's a line from SpongeBob I just remembered, but I can't remember what he says. It's Patrick. Patrick lives like rent-free in my brain and probably always will. He's saying like gently smash it or gently God, I can't remember. Stupid to bring up quotes you can't remember. The old SpongeBob. Oh, these are frenzied hyenas. These are tier 2 boys. We need to put a little respect on their names. They do apply overwhelm whenever they attack. I'm not 100% sure what the stat differences are, but I'm sure there are stat differences between the frenzied and the regulars. Getting us around on our bro there does not perturb me in the least. Muldoon lives for such engagements. He disregards winches and acquires currency. A meme many of you might know. Man, can't attack? Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll just jump through. They make the saddest noises. For how big of jerks hyenas are. One of the biggest jerks in the animal kingdom. A lot of interesting facts about them. Especially their, like, sexual habits and stuff. They're very weird. They're a matriarchal society, for one, which is interesting. The males, I think... I could be getting a lot of this wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. The males are, like, weirdly dominated by the females. And the females are kind of, like, hermaphroditic. I think is how you say that. A 90% we whiff. And have, like, really high testosterone. And have kind of enlarged female genitalia, if you know what I'm saying. And they dominate the males, and they, like, keep them in line. Because if they don't do that, the hyena males are such jerks that, like, they'll kill babies and stuff. So it's like they've evolved, the women hyenas have evolved to be so, like, tough to keep the males in line. Otherwise, they'll start killing the babies. They're jerks even to their own kind. It's funny when you start learning about animal behavior, like how many mammals will kill their own babies. It's sort of crazy. Bears. I don't mean their own babies as in their own, like, offspring. As in, like, the competitive male offspring of, you know, like a new lion in a pride will kill all the cubs. This is getting dark. Will kill all the cubs of the competing male lion that existed before to make sure that it's his bloodline that succeeds. And in a way, it kind of makes sense. Humans did it. And basically every royal family that ever existed. But it's still pretty dark. I think for the most part, we all agree you shouldn't do it. And that when it's done, it's horrible. They're almost done. I haven't been checking to see how many pelts we've gotten, but it looks like a few. I can live with that. We're going to run them down. No one is allowed to escape. These pelts are too valuable. Step in there. Better surround. Damn, still. I was say, no way Muldoon misses this one. And that's great. 3 furs. I think it takes at least 2 to make the... They have a taxidermist here. It might take 3 to make the attachment. But we're going to make it. No, it takes 3. Okay. Let's craft that. I don't know if we have anything right now that we desperately want to put it on. I could see putting it on something like... something like this. Or even some of these basic males. Like we put it on this. That makes it pretty good for an archer who's a nimble dodge bro. I don't really want to save it, you know what I mean? I'd rather just use it now and put it on. These are a little heavy for nimble dodge. We start falling off because we're over the 15 head and armor minimums. Like, this guy's at 18 right now, so not ideal. We really, ideally, probably want it to be a basic male for our archers. This already has an attachment. I don't even know what it gives it. Probably not as good as the fur. But anyway, we'll hold on to it. We could put it on anything. I mean, I could put it on Galdrick here, just to give him a little bit of extra. I could put it on anything. We don't have to be crazy stingy with our attachments. Just do sort of what makes sense. And with that little easy fight, we will travel out into the desert. I'd like to take the road just because I'd like to see if I could ambush some caravans or something. But I also would have liked to come down here because that's where we'll find big locations that have big fights, which have big treasures. So, bit of a trade-off. And no caravans. And once we get here, we'll call it for today. We've had a pretty successful episode. I told you guys a little bit about my travels. But it was great, man. The night before we left, we had a feast, basically, like a 10-course meal that was cooked by chefs that showed up. Really nice ladies who did a cooking class for us the first night. I already know how to cook. I'm a pretty good cook. I worked in restaurants when I was young, and I'm a bit of a home chef. But they showed the kids how to make pasta, which was super fun. And they basically used me as a sous chef because I know how to dice vegetables and stuff. But ended up being a good time. But they came back on our last day. So they're there the first day. We stayed for a week, and they were there on the last day. And they made like a 10-course feast. It was amazing, from bruschetta to breaded zucchini flowers to really good steak. We had a ragu that was like ground beef with carrots. I never would have thought to put carrots in it, but the carrots were super fresh. You could taste it, man. It like made the ragu, and all of their pasta was super al dente, like really kind of chewy, very good. What else? What else did we have? We had a ton of stuff that like I normally wouldn't eat, but I loved it. We had different types of cheeses with honey or like peach preserves, salami, prosciutto. Like olive salads, all kinds of stuff, man. It was wild. And as the sun was setting, my whole family sitting at this, not my whole family, but all my family that was there was all seated outside. Everyone was feeling better. They kept bringing the wine, and the sun started to set behind the mountains behind us. Got some beautiful pictures. And I mean, at the end of the day, those are the things we're going to remember. We're not going to remember the terrible stuff. I would highly recommend traveling. I would highly recommend Italy. It was an expensive trip. I'm not a rich man, but to build those memories with my family and my kids, you know, you can't take money with you. Just like I was talking about earlier in Battle Brothers, the money is for spending. Sometimes you gotta go out on a limb and do something fun and try something new. You only get one life, and that's kind of how I was thinking about it. I've been a bit of a groundhog for a long time thanks to my illness, and I'm trying to constantly find new ways to reach out. I'm going to Mexico next month. My second time leaving the country and my first time going to Mexico. And I'm going with my girlfriend for a friend's wedding. I'm going to be a groomsman in Cancun, one of those all-inclusive type places. It should be a lot of fun. I'll probably tell you guys all about that too when I get back. But that's it, guys. Hope you all have been enjoying your day. Sorry for the big lapse in Battle Brothers content. It's a more time-consuming game to play. And the other games that I've been playing are also pretty fun. Tiny Folks and 20 Minutes Till Dawn. And they just make easier, quick recording sessions while I've been trying to settle back in, catch up from the jet lag, take some naps. That's what I've been doing, and watching Stranger Things. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. Take care. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.